Why do you have a water feature, Jeremy?
Because it's nice to come home from a long day, sit, stare at the fish, relax. Takes away from the stress of the day. And then when the night comes and you get to see the glow of the pond and all the fish and all the colors they have. It's very nice, especially the sound of water, and you can go to sleep at night and have the windows open and hear the waterfall running in the background.
I like the white noise.
Yes, the white
So
noise.
the white noise is, to me, just
Another one of the reasons.
drowns out.
Another reason why I have the water features to drown out the hum of the highway. So I live so close to the highway that the background noise, it kind of mutes out when the waterfall actually starts going through.
And it drowns out all the noise of the day. All the wah, 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 and the blah, blah, blah. It takes my pounding head from the end of the day, and it's just kind of like the white noise. Kind of, what's the word I'm looking for?
Serenity.
Serenity, or, you know,
Yes.
it kind of like,
That is kind of the word. Serenity
what
now.
is it? Like a magician does to you. What are they? Hypnotizes me
Yeah.
into
That's
forgetting
good. That's a good word.
about all the things that I went through for the day. I
Exactly.
mean, to me, I mean, it's like, okay, it's like, Amy will look at me and she's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Huh?" I was just
Zoning.
zoning out on the water feature, listening to the noise.
And
It's
that is
nice.
what water does, though. Water
You
is
go
that.
there, you sit next to the pond, you even sit on the bridge and you put your feet in the water and you have a cup of tea. And you just sit there with your feet in the water, especially if it's hot out. Just kind of splash around and
You really do
I
that.
have water
Yes, I do.
feature envy right
actually
now.
do sit in
Yeah, I
on
don't
the
blame
bridge
you.
and I put my feet in the
Plus,
water.
water flows. Water just
Right.
flows. It flows.
Molly will sit behind me, and or it's nice to watch the animals come up and walk. Molly drinks out of the pond. Now the cat comes out and drinks out of the pond, and we watch all the birds come in and they play in
It's
the.
part of nature.
the
It
stream.
is. It is.
Right?
Well, you build it and they will come. And that's
Absolutely.
exactly.
And you can have it in your own house, and you don't even have to. You bring nature right into you, and you can have it
Right.
anywhere. You could do it literally in a bowl. You could do it in a pot.
Yeah, you said you love yours because it's like you have a whole ecosystem.
It does. It brings a lot of life to the neighborhood because the birds actually will camp out.
Community.
It is really
Mhm.
nice because all the birds come in and they.
I have
build
pictures
homes.
of the birds sitting on my bubbling water feature. Just chilling, drinking.
They like to
hanging
splash around in it and drink it, get cooled off, and then fly away.
Right, we just did a pot for one of our clients, and it was only a pot of water, and she said that she can hear that pot bubbling and, recirculating from her kitchen, and she said it makes her feel so good, and she doesn't even have to see it. She can just hear it, and it goes, and it's a
all
little
about-
one. You
it's all
guys
about
got
the
a big old
senses.
pond.
It's all about all the senses that you have to experience.
That's what nature's all about. Though.
Exactly.
It appeals to your inner senses.
And it's just nice. And then with the added element of having the mirror on an angle, it gives you that ability. As soon as you walk in the yard, the first thing you see is the pond.
Yeah, so you
It's
got
the full-
seeing, hearing, feeling.
It's the focal point of the entire piece is the pond. Everything's built around the pond to focus on the pond. I mean, all the seating spaces are directed at the pond.
So your pond is your focal point.
Everything. It's the absolute centerpiece.
So what do you think you should like? Since there are various types of water features, what do you think are like important things to consider when choosing? Like you have a bubbling rock.
It's
Well,
maintenance
its location
and maintenance.
is first and foremost where you're going to get the most enjoyment out of it. Size, because what size is your space
Right.
and how much room do you have? And then, like Jeremy just said, maintenance.
Like yours, obviously, would since the pond would have way more maintenance than
A pond list.
like
Well,
a
more-
bubbling rock or.
Of course, but when you're dealing with the pond, it's also about what you have into it.
In
you
it.
can, you
Takes
can
more
you can
elements.
develop a pond that actually requires very little maintenance by the items that you choose. Your filtration, your amount of time you filter the water.
The
Now,
plants, the
The
fish.
fish.
you're building an ecosystem that
Quantity of
contains
fish.
itself. So the only real maintenance that you have with your pond, like for us, is the initial startup. You have to empty out half the pond, clean off the rocks, fill it back up. After
How
you-
often?
You simulating what
that's
you're
it.
doing is every spring because you're simulating the spring.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Exactly.
a real
Exactly.
pond, you
Turns
know,
itself.
every spring has this
Redo.
transition. that
Well,
it
what
does.
happens with water is it rotates. And that's lakes, ponds, whatever it is. The water actually
Oceans.
shifts around. So you'll have that cold water on the bottom, the top water will heat up, and what will happen is it will
Flip.
shift. And then that's what it does in the pond. And the more you move the water, the faster you turn the water, the more oxygen you have in the water, the faster your fish grow, the better the water quality.
The flow.
The flow is
Right.
really, really nice.
Well, the
And
fish eat the algae.
they pull it off the stones.
They
and
pull
once,
it off the stone. But if you have too much fish, they shit too much, and they'll overcrap the pond,
But if you
over algae the pond. There
You
is
get
a
a shit
formula
pond.
for how much,
Right.
based on the size of the
Space.
pond, how many inches of fish you should have.
So for me, I wouldn't. Right now, I'm not in up
Serenity.
to taking care of fish or anything. So I would just want to be able to see water flowing and to hear it bubbling. And
So-
that would be enough for
So a
me.
bubbling rock water feature.
So or a pot with a little bubbler in it, or
Something
that kind
simple.
of thing.
No, you're not going to want to go
Right.
to that extreme extent.
And water features are very personal. I mean, they really,
I think so
really
too.
are.
Absolutely.
It's all about personality. I mean, specific clients want specific pieces.
The kids come by my house, and all the little kids are fascinated.
Everybody who knows you in Huntington Woods go, "Oh, isn't that the one with the big rock in the front with the water?"
Moses Rock or whatever they want to call it.
I'm like, look
But
at
what I like too is you can do it according to your house, according to your personality. I mean, water works wherever you put it.
well,